Only on her deathbed does this woman realize that the man who saved her life with his own blood was Fang Yuan. He took the fall for her family and loved her to death, yet her precious white moonlight actually teamed up with his own brother to destroy her entire family. Talk about low-key heartbreaking. But then, boom, she wakes up regressed 4 years in the past. Right when she was forced to marry Fang Yuan. Now, Bai Ningbing desperately wants to apologize for 6 years of total misunderstanding. Meanwhile, thunder is roaring and rain is pouring as Fang Yuan kneels in the storm because she punished him for throwing away her white moonlight's gift. For 4 years, he endured endless abuse because of his deep childhood love for her. But at this point, he is absolutely done. This freezing rain finally wakes him up. He will not tolerate it anymore. Suddenly, Bai Ningbing spots his fragile figure in the yard. Terrified, she rushes out and hugs him tightly. His body is shivering, ice cold to the bone, so she quickly wraps her coat around him. She desperately asks why he did not go inside. Fang Yan looks at her in shock, unable to believe her sudden warmth and worry. He used to dream of this care, but it was always a fantasy, with complete clarity. He reminds Ms. Bai that she was the one who made him kneel here. The divorce papers already prepared. Bai Ningbing completely freezes. Hearing that, she suddenly remembers her cruelty and panics, hugging him tight. But our boy is done. He quietly tells her he is going to live his own life now. He reaches for her face, but hesitates. She immediately grabs his hand, pressing it to her cheek. Crying, she begs him not to go. Seeing her finally regret her actions, absolutely beautiful. Confused, his voice softens, but right as she tries to pull him inside to warm up, boom! The green tea villain Fang Zun suddenly ruins the moment. He fakes a smile and runs over. He acts innocent, asking if they finally made up, praising her for being a good woman. He claims she would never mistreat his brother on his account. Instantly, Fang Yuan's heart turns to ice. Talk about a buzzkill. He scoffs and pushes her away, realizing she only came back on her sweetheart's orders. He tells Fang Zun to stop calling her sister. Once she signs, he can call her his wife. Mic drop. Fang Yuan tries to explain, telling his brother Fang Zun not to get the wrong idea, but Bai Ningbing barks at him to shut up. She completely cuts off Fang Zun and drags a struggling Fang Yuan inside, slamming the heavy front door right in his brother's face. Fang Zun is left standing outside in pure confusion at this point, while inside the old mansion, Bai Ningbing pins Fang Yuan down onto the soft mattress, his hair soaking the pillow. He glares at her, demanding to know what she thinks she is doing, but she freezes, nervously explaining she just wanted to help him change out of his wet clothes. Since he is completely soaked, she tries to explain herself, but Fang Yuan cold shoulders her, snaps that he can handle himself, and retreats into the bathroom. Left alone, Bai Ningbing sits on the bed like a sad, abandoned puppy, staring blankly at the door, hoping he will come back out. The hot water washes away the cold, but cannot heal his tired heart, and just as his exhaustion peaks, Bai Ningbing starts knocking frantically on the door. She actually starts scratching at the wood like a crazy cat, begging to know why he is being so quiet in there. Nah, that's insane. Fang Yuan knows if he doesn't answer, she might actually break the door down, so he sighs and calls out that he is almost finished. And boom, the second he steps out, she lunges straight into his arms and drags him to the master bedroom like she just won the ultimate lottery. He pushes her off, coldly saying he has absolutely zero interest in repeating their toxic night from 4 years ago, leaving her completely devastated and begging to explain. Yuan almost laughs as she tries getting close. Like, did she really wait until his heart went completely cold? Before she actually tries? Bai Ningbing literally has no excuse. His voice is cold and distant as he calls her Miss Bai. He tells her if she wants to play games, there are plenty of others. Hearing this, her eyes go dark as she grabs his wrist. She grips his wrist, completely desperate, swearing she will never let him go. She bound him with hate in their past life, but now? She wants to use love to keep him. She actually pulls his hand to her chest, her voice cracking as she brings up his dead heart. She asks if she can just give him hers instead. Honestly, she sounds so tragic and desperate, like she would literally die before letting him walk away. Yuan is completely stunned by this. She snuggles right into his chest with a bitter smile, begging Yuan to forgive her. But even wrapped in her hug, his voice stays totally flat and sarcastic, asking what Miss Bai could possibly have done wrong. Drowning in regret, she admits she messed up big time, telling him that from now on, everything she owns belongs to him. Seeing her cling to him, Bai Yuan gets reminded of a goofy dog he once raised. Honestly, can we even blame him for asking what if he doesn't want her anymore? She looks up, her eyes completely locked on him. Honestly, those gorgeous, captivating eyes are enough to make anyone melt, and Bai Yuan knows it. He realizes a huge reason he got so caught up with her in the first place was just because her face is too stunning to resist. As she leans in close, her warm breath sends shivers straight down his spine. She whispers that he cannot abandon her, or she will literally die. In her arms, Fang Yuan's eyes instantly shrink as a sudden warmth rushes through him. He tries to tell her to stop, but her lips are already pressing against his neck. She begins kissing his pale, almost sickly skin where the veins are clearly visible. At this point, his entire body starts trembling uncontrollably. Bai Ningbing, he used to crave this touch day and night, but now he only feels resistance as his brother Fang Zun's warnings echo in his head. He refuses to blindly accept this sudden change of heart. Honestly, he never cared about his so-called freedom anyway. All he ever wanted was this woman's real heart. With his skills, not even a prison could trap him, let alone this old family manor. Bai Ningbing stops just inches from his lips, whispering for him not to be afraid, promising this has nothing to do with Fang Zun. Before she can finish, she kisses him deeply. Just as Fang Yuan tries to push her away, a sudden voice echoes in his head. It is her voice, thinking about how foolishly wrong she was in the past. Stunned, he asks what she just said. Thinking he is demanding answers, Bai Ningbing quickly explains that she realized she literally cannot live without him. She vows to stay with him through life and death, but as he opens his mouth, her inner voice echoes in his mind again. She is thinking about being tangled together even in death. Fang Yuan is completely stunned, realizing he can actually hear her inner thoughts.
This is actually wild. Reading her mind is so bizarre that he forgets to push her away as she holds him tight, whispering his name. She kisses his shoulder, silently wishing she could kiss his lips, but fearing he would reject her.
Fang Yuan suddenly pulls back, staring in shock at this dominant woman who somehow looks both innocent and full of quiet desire. Desperate to clear his head, he takes a step back and coldly asks if she came all this way just to say this. Bai Ningbing stands up, saying she is here to take him home. Home? Fang Yuan raises an eyebrow, asking where exactly she expects them to return. Bai Ningbing humbly apologizes, admitting she was too late in picking him up. She is genuinely sorry.
Fang Yuan just stares at her, asking flatly if she realizes how ridiculous she sounds. It has been 4 whole years.
That is not just late, it is a lifetime. But the calmer he acts, the more panicked she gets, wondering if he really stopped loving her.
She is absolutely terrified that he has completely given up on her, and these dark thoughts start driving her crazy. See, she grew up with strict family rules, and since they had an arranged marriage, she always took care of his younger brother, Fang Zun. She basically treated him like a future husband, but the relationship was completely dry, like a stagnant pool of water with zero spark. But Fang Yuan, he was the fire that completely ignited her passion, turning her dull world into a bright, living masterpiece. He taught her what love actually feels like, eventually becoming her entire world. Bai Ningbing looks down, her eyes filled with sorrow. In a shaky voice, she asks if he could ever forgive her. Fang Yuan just rubs his temples, feeling an absolutely splitting headache. Between the pouring rain and the harsh days at the old manor, his body is totally worn down, and a fever is clearly setting in. Plus, he has never seen her like this. She is a completely different person compared to the cold woman who stood beside Fang Zun. He used to be so jealous of his brother, but seeing her vulnerable like this makes his heart beat again, despite his raging headache. As dizziness takes over, Bai Ningbing immediately notices something is wrong and quickly pulls him into a tight, desperate embrace. Begging him, she whispers that he caught a bad cold and needs to rest right now. Too weak to resist, he collapses in her arms. Fang Yuan rarely gets sick, but when he does, it hits him 10 times harder. He usually takes extra care of himself, but the massive emotional shock from Bai Ningbing today completely broke his defenses.
Panicking, Bai Ningbing immediately scoops him up and rushes out. He completely passes out, not waking up until late the next night. Waking up dazed, he finds her arm draped over his waist, her warm breath gently brushing against his hair. For a second, he honestly thinks he is trapped in some hyper-realistic dream. Feeling a bit choked up, he gently moves her arm. He slips out of bed and walks to the balcony, letting the cool summer breeze clear his head with a few deep breaths. But back inside, Bai Ningbing suddenly jolts awake. Feeling the empty space beside her, she instantly panics. She screams his name into the quiet night. Spotting his silhouette on the balcony, she grabs a shawl and quietly walks over. She hugs him from behind, burying her face in his neck and whispering a sweet nickname. Fang Yuan just laughs softly. He asks if she got him mixed up with Fang Zun again. They might be half-brothers, but they look completely different. Wait, she actually did mistake them in the past, but now she clings tighter, insisting that the name Awaken is only his. And honestly, he believes her. As the proud heiress of the strict Bai family, he is the only one who can make her break. She has compromised her strict principles again and again just for him. Softly, she coaxes him to go back inside. She tells him he still has a fever and needs to rest. Patting her hand, he signals her to let go.
He promises to rest, but asks if she really plans to stay. After all, 4 years ago, she swore she would only ever bear Fang Zun's children.
Slapping her own face? Miss Bai, who literally shared his bed, is full of regret. It hurts like hell. After their single night together, she coldly pushed him away.
She cut ties completely, but now she desperately wants to bear his kids. She literally grabs his hand and forces him to slap her own face. She begs him to hit her hard, so what does he do? He backhands her. Talk about a love-hate relationship. But instead of crying, she gently offers her other cheek, telling him to use a tool if his hand hurts. He actually laughs. Captivated by his smile, she leans in close. Her face fills his vision, her fresh scent wrapping around him, just as her lips are about to touch his. But he pushes her away. Cue the instant shock in her eyes. She stumbles back, loses her footing, and plummets straight off the second-floor balcony. He screams her name as she hits the grass, knocked out cold. Sirens wail as the ambulance rushes her to the emergency room. As he waits anxiously in the hallway, her assistant Zheng Yujiao and bodyguard Bai Mengyao walk out. He jumps up, desperately asking how she is. But check out her assistant's face. A weird look flashes across her eyes. She quickly masks it, saying they need to run more tests. Since he's running a fever, she suggests the bodyguard drive him home. He hesitates, looks at the ward, and finally nods. Polite but guarded, they never trusted him anyway. Keeping him away actually makes sense. Back at the old mansion, he tosses and turns, completely unable to sleep. Finally, he makes a call. His disciple on the other end is thrilled, asking why his master is suddenly calling. He sighs, telling the kid to stop treating him like an old man. Straightening up, he gets to the point. It's about Bai Ningbing. She fell off a balcony. He asks Shen to check on her, but the disciple instantly groans. He hates her. Why does his master care so much about this toxic ex? Honestly, falling to her death would be better. Our guy just sighs. No matter how toxic she was, he can't let her go. Grudgingly, Shen heads to the emergency room. Shen gets there and immediately asks for the patient.
They tell him Bai Ningbing already moved to a private suite. Annoyed, he demands to know her diagnosis and who treated her. After digging around, he calls his master back. It's just a minor concussion. She'll be fine in 2 days. Private suite is totally overkill. Hearing that, our main character finally breathes a sigh of relief. After all, she is the famous president of Luocheng. Special treatment is expected, but then Shen asks the real question. When is he finally going to divorce this woman? Divorce won't be simple. He expected her to recover quickly, but the next morning? Her assistant rushes into his office, looking absolutely pale. "Sir," she gasped, "something went horribly wrong with Miss Bai." His mind goes blank, but he forces himself to stay calm and demands to know what happened. Her assistant looks completely shook. She tells him he has to see it for himself. On the way there, he prepares for the absolute worst. He's expecting brain death, but what he actually finds is wild. The icy president is clinging to him, babyishly calling him Big Brother. This ruthless woman is looking at him with pure innocence, leaving our main character totally stunned. Her assistant steps in, sounding nervous. She says the head trauma regressed Bai Ningbing to a 6-year-old child. He wants to consult the doctor, but she won't let go. She's literally acting like sticky glue. Push her away and she bursts into tears. So did the scan results show anything? Her assistant adjusts her glasses, explaining the doctors are baffled. There's no physical cause, yet she woke up convinced she's a toddler. But here's the catch. She only remembers him. If he leaves her sight, she completely loses it. The assistant looks pitying. Seeing the cold tyrant like this is honestly heartbreaking. Right then, she snuggles closer, acting incredibly spoiled. She whines that she's hungry. Awkwardly, he asks the assistant to watch her while he goes to find the doctor. But she refuses, clinging to him like an octopus and burying her face in his chest. Tactfully, the assistant steps back. They're calling in top experts, but until then, they need him to stay. She literally only trusts him now. He raises an eyebrow, skeptical. To prove her point, the assistant steps forward to show him. She offers to get food, but she cowers behind him, calling her a bad guy and holding his hand tight. She proudly promises to protect her big brother. The assistant just sighs. They literally have no other choice but to ask him. His gaze turns icy. Even if she hated him before, he's still her legal husband. Are they really thinking of calling her ex Fang Zun? Speechless, she quickly bows her head and apologizes. She admits it was a mistake and she should have called him first. He sounds incredibly protective. When can she leave? Since her physical health is fine, they can head home soon. Since they can leave the hospital anytime, Zhang Yuzhao is low-key walking on eggshells watching our main character. He gently takes Bai Ningbing's hand, softening his voice. He asks Ningbing if she wants to go home with him, and her eyes immediately light up with the most dazzling smile. She happily chirps that she wants to go home with her big brother. Seeing this, Zhang Yuzhao turns around, letting out a massive sigh of relief while screaming inside. Watching her boss play along is more painful than acting herself. The mighty Yan Wanli, a powerful Luo Cheng boss who is usually an absolute ice king, is actually coddling her like a toddler. But hey, she's gotta endure it for the paycheck. This is actually our MC's first time visiting Jing Garden, the final masterpiece of Bai Ningbing's architect mother. Since it was her mother's final masterpiece, Ningbing treasures it deeply and rarely lets anyone in. Fang Zun only visited a few times when her mom was alive. While Fang Zun visited a few times, our MC never had the chance. Standing by the water, he takes in the stunning architecture in awe, making Ningbing look at him funny. She tells him to hurry up and get inside. Snapping out of his daze, he lets her happily drag him in, where Zhang Yuzhao already has breakfast waiting. Right as they sit, Ningbing clings to him, whining for him to feed her. She even leans in close, wanting to hear if his stomach is growling. With a cute giggle, she actually presses her ear right against his stomach. Left with no choice, he helplessly wraps his arms around her head. From the side, it literally looks like she is the one who is pregnant. She sits back up, proudly declaring she heard his tummy growl. She stays cuddled up in his arms as his hand gently rests on her slim waist. Zhang Yuzhao planned to stay for breakfast, but this PDA makes her want to run. She excuses herself, saying she has to head to the office. Our MC, Mr. Fang, nods in appreciation, while Zhang Yuzhao throws one last look at Ningbing. She quickly heads out, muttering about how crazy this situation is. After feeding Ningbing, he tries to have her taken upstairs to wash up and rest, but Ningbing clings to him tightly, refusing to let go because she wants to stay with her Yuan. He patiently explains they are different genders. She pouts, on the verge of tears, arguing that since they have a childhood betrothal, they are absolutely allowed to be together. His eyes flicker, wondering how she even knows about that. She proudly beams, saying her mom told her, making him suddenly ask a direct question. He asks if she is actually playing dumb. While she acts completely clueless, her inner thoughts reveal that she has to play dumb to hug him. Hearing her mental confession about how much she loves him, our MC smirked inside. No shot she actually became simple-minded from a fall. She nuzzles against his chest like a little kitten, but he unceremoniously cups her face, pulling her back slightly to look into her eyes. Since she wants to keep up this act, he decides to play along. She quickly whines that Ningbing is actually the most obedient girl. He gently strokes her chin, making her hum in delight as she reaches up to touch his face right back.
The moment she touches his cheek, her fingertips visibly tremble. He gently holds her hand against his face, softly asking if she is cold. Taking the cue, Bai Ningbing buries herself in his arms, holding him in a death grip. After staying up all night, he is exhausted. But being leaned on like this gives him an unprecedented sense of peace. Before they know it, they fall fast asleep on the sofa together. Hearing his breathing stabilize, a flash of mischief crosses her mind. She secretly wishes she had tried playing dumb much earlier. She carefully carries him upstairs, gently tucking him into the master bed before cuddling up next to him for a deep sleep.
Meanwhile, Fang Zun rushes over to the old mansion but finds absolutely nobody. The maid casually says the young master went back to the estate. Fang Zun completely loses it, screaming that there is no way Sister Ningbing would ever let that guy set foot in the estate.
The maid calmly fires back that he is her husband, so of course he lives there. Our MC's kind attitude over the years really paid off here.
The staff completely backs our MC up. Speechless, Fang Zun glares at the maid before bolting straight toward the estate in a rage. To him, that place is sacred, and a country bumpkin like our MC has absolutely no right to be there. Back at the estate, Ningbing is busy begging him to go swimming, pointing eagerly at the outdoor pool. She even playfully tugs at her swimsuit, teasingly showing off right in front of him, but he decisively shakes his head. But she refuses to take no for an answer, dragging him toward the deep end of the pool before he can even react. He gets yanked straight into the water. Chuckling, he asks who even changed her into that swimsuit while he was briefly on the phone. She innocently points to Bai Mengyao, whose face is an absolute picture of defeat, making him laugh even harder. Since Mengyao helped her out, he agrees to play for a bit, playfully splashing some water in her direction. With her wet hair framing her face, she stares blankly for a second before letting out a dazzling, absolutely breathtaking smile. That stunning look immediately steals his heart, but remembering how she ignored him for 4 years makes him feel a bit bitter. No matter what she is planning, he is determined to find out the truth. Just then, she swims closer and wraps her arms around him. Looking at her gorgeous face, he gets lost in thought. Honestly, if she was not this beautiful, he might have never saved her back then. He suddenly hears her inner thoughts, asking if he only likes her face and not her body, making him glance at her wet swimsuit. She is literally chanting in her head for him to look at her, so he just tosses his wet outer shirt aside. Standing in just his swim trunks, he reaches out and she happily swims into his arms, before Bai Mengyao suddenly interrupts them. So Fang Zun shows up at the front gate, and the moment Bai Ningbing hears his name, she immediately clings to Yuan even tighter. He tells the maid to keep her upstairs, then gently pinches her ear before trying to leave, but she tightly hugs his waist, refusing to let go. Left with no choice, Yuan turns around to patiently coax his clingy wife, telling her he is just meeting a guest and will be back to play soon. She rubs her little head against his chest, refusing to let him leave. Honestly, this cute affection gets him feeling a bit hot, so he lifts her chin. He gives her a soft, gentle kiss. This innocent kiss makes Bai Ningbing's heart completely skip a beat, and she clearly wants more. She tries to chase his lips for another round, but Yuan gently blocks her with his finger, telling her to be good and go upstairs first. He promises to join her soon, and though she reluctantly agrees, she looks incredibly pouty. Seeing her sad face, he coaxes her again, promising a reward. If she waits upstairs, he will give her another kiss. Her dark eyes light up, and she finally leaves happily. Meanwhile, the poor maid, Bai Mengyao, is forced to watch the whole thing. She honestly wishes she could unsee all the sweet PDA. Now, our MC is extremely possessive and definitely doesn't want Fang Zun seeing his wife. He wants to keep Bai Ning. So our boy Yuan is just chillin' poolside, sipping fruit wine, when his annoying half-brother Fang Zun suddenly walks in, acting all shocked to see him there. Yuan just takes another slow sip, letting out a totally savage smirk, like, "Stop acting, bro. Why are you still calling me brother? Everyone knows your scheming mother had you secretly behind my dad's back, so did you really think I wouldn't track down your actual birth year?" Fang Zun's face completely drops for a second, but he quickly forces that fake innocent smile back on, warning him that their dad would be furious. Yuan literally just shrugs and scoffs. Honestly, if the old man gets so angry he has a stroke, that actually sounds like a massive win to him. Fang Zun is low-key pissed now, but he still tries to play the moral high ground, saying the family always treated Yuan well. but Yuan is already done with his nonsense. He cuts off the fake speech right there and tells him to spit it out. Fang Zun just blinks his big puppy dog eyes, claiming he went to the old family mansion first. Then he fake worries about Yuan's relationship with his wealthy wife, Ningbing. Meanwhile, up on the balcony, Ningbing is watching this entire tense standoff unfold. Standing right behind her is her assistant, Meng Yao, who nervously asks if she really plans to keep hiding things like this from her husband. Like, aren't you worried he'll find out the truth? But Ningbing's eyes are glued to Yuan, totally unfazed as she says she is not scared at all. Meng Yao pushes further. What if he feels betrayed, asks for a divorce, and leaves you? Ningbing just chuckles softly, her obsessive gaze never wavering. She vows she will absolutely never let him go, even if she has to use some dark, shady methods, and even if he ends up hating her to his very core. Bro, she's got that peak yandere energy. Her assistant is panicking, begging her not to do anything crazy because forced love never works out. Ningbing is completely cold and determined. She basically says, I don't care if it's not sweet, I am still twisting that melon. Hearing that, Meng Yao accidentally blurts out that Yuan is incredibly unlucky to have met her. Ningbing slowly turns around with a deadpan stare. Meng Yao immediately bows her head and panics, apologizing, but Ningbing actually agrees, calmly slipping on her robe while reflecting on her obsessive love. She says all her twisted schemes and intense love are reserved only for Yuan, and that he actually likes her wild side anyway. Meng Yao just nods along like, yeah, I'm single, what do I know? Ningbing adjusts her dress, ready to head down, and asks her assistant a quick question. Do you know what to say when we get down there? Meng Yao is internally crying, wishing she could swap places with anyone else right now. Downstairs, Fang Zun is back to his passive-aggressive acting, asking Yuan if it's his first time at this grand estate and offering to show him around. But the moment he spots Ningbing walking down the stairs, he instantly switches to this cringe, sweet kiss-up attitude. He starts whining that he thought she wasn't home, blaming Yuan for not telling him. Yuan just glares coldly as Ningbing steps up, fully dressed. Once Fang Yuan's anger cools down a bit, Bai Ningbing immediately reads his face. Sensing his anger, she rushes over and wraps him in a tight hug. Resting her head against his neck, she completely ignores Fang Zun, just treats him like he is invisible. Fang Zun's sweet smile completely freezes. His eyes flash with shock as he asks why she looks so exhausted. Is it because of brother again? He softens his voice, but every single word hides a sharp edge. He tells her to be patient. Honestly, the audacity of this green tea villain is wild. Fang Yuan scoffs. He tells him to back off, then suddenly cups Bai Ningbing's chin. And kisses her right there. Fang Zun gasps in horror, staring wide-eyed at the intimate display. The craziest part? She does not resist at all. How is that even possible? Though he only meant to tease her, the longing in his heart hits like a tidal wave. He loves her completely. For 4 years, he has hidden his fierce feelings to respect her. If he had not spent years holding back, he would have made her fall for him long ago. Now, as their lips meet, he sighs softly and wraps his arms around her neck. Now this is the ultimate payoff. It is so satisfying, especially with the green tea forced to watch. Fang Yuan decides to give Fang Zun a front row seat. He deeply kisses Bai Ningbing, who is acting like an obedient kitten. Honestly, her lips are so sweet he wants to keep going, but he gently bites her lip, pulls back, and tells her to be good. Still, she keeps trying to lean in. He stops her. She is left messily kissing his neck while he looks coldly at Fang Zun, telling him to scram. Fang Zun's face turns red with pure rage. The dude starts stuttering, bringing up Fang Yuan's mom and accusing him of being a homewrecker, but Fang Yuan just coldly mocks him, telling him to go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Fang Zun's eyes turn completely red, and his voice gets super screechy as he asks Fang Yuan how he dares to speak to him like that. He even turns to Bai Ningbing to play the victim, begging her to look at him, but she has her head completely buried in Fang Yuan's neck. She is too busy inhaling his scent to care about anything else. Dazed, like a kid eating candy, she starts whispering. She mumbles, begging Fang Yuan to kiss her again. She wants more. Gently, he lifts her chin. He tells her they should go back to the room. Instantly, her eyes light up like stars as she nods frantically.
She nods like a happy chicken, while Fang Zun stands frozen, watching Fang Yuan carry her away. His mind is blank, wondering what kind of cheat code Fang Yuan used.
Refusing to back down, the guy pulls out his phone. He calls Zong Yujiao to test the waters. He politely asks if it is true that Ningbing is sick. This guy did not climb Luoqing high society just by relying on his pretty face. He has a sharp mind. Hearing this, Zhang Yujiao's heart completely skips a beat, worried he realized Bai Ningbing is actually just faking her mental state.
She asks why he is wondering. He quickly puts on a concerned act, claiming he saw his brother taking great care of her at the hospital. He claims he was just worried about her, but seriously, if Zhang Yujiao did not know her security was watertight, she might have actually been fooled by this act.
Keeping a polite smile on her face, she replies that the lady has been incredibly busy with work lately.
Her health is suffering, so she is resting at home, and since they are husband and wife, it is completely natural for him to take care of her.
As an assistant, she cannot really interfere. Hearing this, Fang Zun narrows his eyes with a pretty shady smile.
He claims he only wants the best for her. Since his brother is by her side, he will just head home.
But he warns her not to hide anything since their families are close, politely wishing her well before hanging up.
Right after that, his fake smile vanishes. His smile vanishes instantly as he gets into his car with a dark face. No worries, he still has a spy inside.
Meanwhile, back in the room, Fang Yuan gently strokes Bai Ningbing's back as she hugs him tightly. His eyes remain calculating as she buries her face in his neck.
She softly asks if he is upset because of that guy. Gently pinching her earlobe, Fang Yuan lets out a cold, mocking smirk, admitting that yes, he absolutely despises the man. He even teases her about how she used to favor Fang Zun back in the day. She immediately panics, completely denying it.
She gets super emotional, stating there is no way she could like him since her heart only belongs to him. Fang Yuan narrows his eyes, studying her closely. He asks if she is completely sure she did not feel anything seeing him. She panics, desperately repeating that she felt absolutely nothing. Looking up with pure sincerity, she thinks to herself that she only cares about him, and that annoying Fang Zun needs to be dealt with quickly. How dare he make her favorite person unhappy? Hearing these intense inner thoughts, Fang Yuan cannot help but smile. He is finally completely certain of her loyalty. Praise is definitely due. Calling her a good girl, he gently pulls her closer. He grabs her collar to bring her even closer, kissing her deeply as a sweet little reward while whispering softly.
She joyfully returns the kiss, trying her best to hold back her crazy excitement. But by evening, she starts acting up again.
She whines and begs him to give her a bath, acting all pitiful and claiming she does not even know how to wash herself.
He patiently repeats that boys and girls cannot bathe together, but she plays the sibling card, bringing up what her mom used to say about them being family.
He internally facepalms, thinking her mom passed away years ago. If her spirit actually saw her faking being dumb like this, she would probably lose her mind. She would literally tear down the whole hospital. Still, she just hugs him super tight, constantly rubbing against him while begging. He looks at her and suddenly gets a devious idea, flashing a smirk and agreeing. But right outside the bathroom, things change. He happily pats her shoulder, saying he will wait right outside. Her face instantly drops, looking incredibly pouty and disappointed. She calls him a big meanie, but he just laughs, pushing her in and offering to call Meng Yao to help. This instantly gets a pretty furious reaction. She yells from inside that she only wants him and nobody else. He just playfully teases her back, saying she only gets Meng Yao. Inside, she is totally grinding her teeth, plotting how to get rid of this annoying third wheel. But the next morning at breakfast, things take another sudden turn. A figure suddenly bursts right into the living room, frantically asking if she is okay, making him look up. He actually recognizes this girl as Shen Man, one of the female lead's own subordinates. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing is internally totally panicking. She wonders why this girl suddenly had to show up and ruin everything. Honestly, this timing is terrible, and things are about to get even crazier.